Greatest of YouTube people, welcome back. Thank you for joining me once more. As always, I'd like to talk about something literary. Well, I suppose I don't always do that. You know that I once spoke about studying something and it was partially blocked on YouTube. I still don't understand. I'm still trying to work out which policy I breached, but I think that YouTube believes that I was telling people that if they studied a certain thing, they would automatically reach a certain level of success, which is certainly not something that I ever said. But anyway, today I would like to talk to you about one of the pivotal books in my life, a book that inspired me deeply on many levels. It inspired me intellectually, it inspired me in terms of study and education, it inspired me in terms of writing style and what I wanted to achieve in the way of the word. And it is a book called Demian by the German author Hermann Hesse, who actually spent most of his life in Switzerland as a Swiss citizen due to complications in Germany during his lifetime. The book was written in 1919, just after World War One, and it's a coming-of-age novel that deals with breaking free from this traditional, more moral lifestyle into maybe a darker, more evil one, and it also describes a search for meaning, and I know those in particular are two subjects that have always fascinated me in terms of my own desire to write or express. Is that conflict that we have in life, from that squeaky clean family life, the parents who did everything right and were always there saving and living a good life, versus some of the more controversial aspects of life, like going to punk rock shows or forming punk rock bands and getting involved in some of the underground lifestyle or nightlife that sometimes goes hand in hand with that, and not necessarily punk rock. Punk rock, I feel, is personally in my perspective, punk rock is a clean living, conscientious ethos, but you can get this darker side of life through any aspect of nightlife and beyond. And same when it comes to sport. The sportsmen and women that appealed to me were always the ones that lived right on the edge of healthy sportsman genius to borderline insanity genius. And I think of somebody like Eric Cantona, for example, who was this amazing soccer player, football player, extremely talented, a catalyst, helping his teams go on and achieve amazing things, but at the same time the kind of character that would get sent off quite a lot. He would get fined quite a lot. He ended up jumping into the crowd at one game and kicking a spectator. So just borderline. But what I really love, similarly with Charles Bukowski later in literature. And one of the most fascinating aspects of the book is the arrival of Demian, Max Demian, the character, who's this character of great intelligence and inner strength. And it's not quite clear whether, if you're really examining it philosophically, whether Max Demian is a real character or not, whether he actually exists or whether he's just a figment of the imagination or part of the psyche of the narrator, Sinclair. And but that character, I almost imagine it was fun to write. It's almost like introducing some kind of an invincible, unstoppable, unbeatable character into your book, like a superhero, but a superhero of the intellect and inner strength. And just another theme that I love, and forgive me for saying this, but the rebellion against conventional morality. And don't get me wrong, I'm not someone who goes running around the street naked or has really engaged in insane debauchery in my life. But I do find many of the traditional, conventional, dogmatic ways of thinking and living to be very restrictive and annoying, and I love that idea of rebellion against that. So anyway, without giving too much away, as always, get out there, get a copy of this fantastic book, Demian, by Hermann Hesse, his first novel, and then go on to read his further novels, which are all fantastic. I've spoken here before about Steppenwolf, which was actually the first one that I personally read, but I recommend starting with Demian and going on from there. So thank you very much, have a great time, be good to each other, survive.